Welcome back to the Distressed Princess. I'm Rhonda. In today's video, I'm so excited to show you what I've come up with to get the look for less. I've duped some things that I love over on the antiquefarmhouse.com. I looked over there and I saw the things that I thought we could easily dupe. So these are beginner friendly, no prior crafting experience necessary, easy stuff, and come with me if you want to get the look for less. So the first thing I thought of when I saw this over on the antiquefarmhouse.com was that we could definitely dupe this for less than $66. And what I did was I went over to Hobby Lobby, but you could definitely thrift a Santa statue. Hobby Lobby stuff was 50% off the Christmas stuff the day that I went. So this Santa statue only cost me about $6. Now to turn him into a candle holder, what I did was I took the lid of a candle and I wanted to attach it to the top of Santa, kind of offset like the one on antiquefarmhouse.com. I started out with this candle lid from not a Pottery Barn, White Barn candle, but then I liked this smaller one better. Even a pickle jar lid, something like that, would work for this perfectly. If there's any plastic on the inside, remove that, and we're going to paint the whole thing. The trick to painting something gold is to first paint it black, and that will really make the gold paint pop. So I am using black chalk paint, and because it sticks to everything. And then watch the magic when you start adding the gold paint. Of course, after the black paint has completely dried, you can use a heat gun or a hair dryer to speed that up. But the gold paint that I'm using, I'll show it here. I got this at Walmart, I think, long time ago. But it really, really worked well for this project. It is not exactly the same color as the one that we're trying to dupe. It's more of a brownish color, but you can search for a different color of gold paint that suits you more. But I am so happy with how this one turned out. And I wasn't aiming to get every single nook and cranny filled with the gold paint. I wanted some of that black to shine through because that's where you get your really antique-y looking details. The only thing I thought to attach this permanently and very well and quickly is JB Weld. You can pick this up at the Dollar General store. It's $7, but it is the best hold possible for your crafts like this. So you just have to squeeze some of it out into a little tray or paper plate, whatever. Mix it up with the little popsicle stick that comes with it, and then apply it to your pieces. You have to hold it. You have to be patient and hold it just for a little while. It might be a couple of minutes that you have to hold it, but it will set and it will cure. So here's the comparison. My paint is a little yellowish gold and theirs is more bronze, but you can definitely change that. I actually like mine because it fits in more with the rest of what I'm going to do today. And so continue watching if you want to see more looks for less. This setup right here, the deer and the candles and the greenery, stopped me in my tracks. I wanted this so bad. And then when I saw this picture of it, I realized, hey, it doesn't matter if those candles are actually attached to the deer. I just want this look. And for $39, get the deer if you want the attached candles. But I'm just going for the look as cheaply as possible. And so over to Hobby Lobby I went, and everything was 50% off. There is a whole slew of deer. There's deer of every shape, size, and form. So I tried to match the size that goes with these Dollar Tree taper candle holders. Some Dollar Tree may even have brass ones, and that would be great for this project. So I have this deer that is half off. So what I paid, 12 bucks for the deer or something like that. And then I'm going to use some gold leaf rub and buff, and I'm going to cover all of these candlesticks. And this little thing of rub and buff goes so far. You can do so many projects with one little tube of rub and buff. There's several different colors to choose from. I'm using gold leaf on these, and I'm also going to use this on the deer so that they are the same color and everything is uniform, just like on Antique Farmhouse. I have some battery powered tapers that I picked up on Amazon, but they don't want to fit real snug in these candle holders. So I'm using some little, I don't know, two-sided tape. It's like little foam sticky tape so that my candles will stand up in there straight. And so here's the comparison, and I already had my candles. You may already have some of these things too. So the more stuff you already have, the less your cost will be. The deer are still very popular this year for Christmas, if you're wondering. And this little set over on the Antique Farmhouse is very cute. And you know that you can get similar items at Walmart and everywhere else now. And even Hobby Lobby had this set for $6. But I can do even better than that. The Dollar Tree has this acrylic deer, and I wish that they had one in the laying down position too, but for right now all they have is the standing deer. Since you already have a gold robin buff anyway because you're doing all these other projects, throw some on this deer. Now I will say that it is a very slick surface, so it doesn't want to attach the best. Like, it wants to slide around a lot on the deer. So maybe do some clear kind of sealant first and then do the gold rub and buff, and it'll be easier for you. I just worked with mine and it turned out so good. Just for $1.25 or $1.50, whatever they're charging for these little ornaments at the Dollar Tree. I always wanted a set of bells like these. They always seemed way too expensive for what they are, and Hobby Lobby has the perfect solution. At 50% off, these bells are $4.50 and the perfect look-alike. All you need is some rope. You know they sell that at the Dollar Tree, but I didn't stop at a Dollar Tree just for rope. If you don't want to stop at a Dollar Tree just for rope either, you could do what I'm doing and just double up, triple up, quadruple up, maybe even on some jute string. And I measured something about 23 inches of it. Tie a loop at one end of your rope so that you'll have a hanger and cut off the excess. Then just twist your jute string up so that it looks like a rope. You'll secure it at the end with hot glue, and you'll also be hot gluing your bells on, so that helps keep it all wound up too. So I did 2 strands with 3 bells going down each, but you can make an even longer, you can make this a garland, or however you would like. When I came to the last bell in line, I just cut off the excess rope and used the rope that the bell was hanging on, and it blends right in and looks great. I don't have a Christmas scene for it yet, but for now it's just hanging on the corner of my cabinet. If you're loving the Ralph Lauren Christmas that's all over social media, then you gotta try this. These plaid candles are so easy to make, and you just use the ones from the Dollar Tree. Okay, this is the neatest hack. They already come with a perfect plastic cover. You want to keep that plastic cover because all you're going to do is take some gift wrap, and mine came from the Dollar Tree, and you're going to cut out a piece the exact same size as that plastic piece. And then you're going to wrap your gift wrap around the candle and then wrap the plastic piece around the outside to give it that shiny look. I used double-sided tape to secure it all in place, and it turned out amazing. Just for the little Dollar Tree candles, this was a pretty cool dupe. So who has any idea what we can use to make these metal cone trees? And it's not going to cost $136. Did you have any idea I was going to plunk down a Dollar Tree party hat? Now, stick with me here. I know it looks like a cardboard party hat, but I promise you, it's going to look like a metal tree. And I won't steer you wrong because I remember the last episode, I honestly told you about something that I made that, no, it just didn't hit the mark for me. So if it doesn't look good in your house, I will not show you how to make it. So here we go with a party hat into a metal Christmas tree. So the first thing I did, of course, was remove everything from the party hat except for the cardboard itself. And then on the back side, I used hot glue to seal it up and make the seam as even as possible and with no gaps. And then I painted the whole thing with black chalk paint because you want to have a black undertone to make the gold pop. I'm using this same gold paint that I painted Santa with earlier, and I am trying to get pretty good coverage, but that black is going to shine through, and you want that. And we're going to add more black at the end too. Now on the party hats, I'll point out that there is some places around the bottom where the elastic was attached and this little cutout pieces. If this bothers you, you can cut that end of the cone off. But I just left it. It doesn't bother me. I painted right over it and it blends in. By the time I get my greenery and everything, you don't even see it. And what helps with that is adding something like this into the group. An actual cone tree that I found at the Dollar Tree. It was $5, so it has to be a Dollar Tree plus, but it is a really nice metal tree and it's a nice color, but I want it to match mine. So I'm using some of my gold leaf rub and buff to match the cone tree that I just made. And the cone tree that I just made, we're going to add a star to. And when you put the two together, you can't tell that they weren't just bought as a set. Now back to the cone that I made, I wanted to add some of that gold rub and buff onto it as well because I wanted some various different shades of gold, and I'll show you the difference. And I was trying to match both of my trees together so they actually look like a set. So this top part has the rub and buff and the bottom part doesn't. So you see how I am toning down the gold paint that was on there with the gold rub and buff, and that makes it look even better, guys, even more like old antique metal. I really probably could have stopped there, but I wanted to add a little bit more detail, and if you're more like that, you can go more for details or stop there too and add your star. But I added some black paint, just a little tiny, well, I'm going to say a little tiny bit. It looks like a lot actually once I get it on there. I just kind of smudged it with a foam brush just in random little spots all over because I'm trying to make this look like aged metal. And then after I get all of that on there, then I go back on with my second color of rub and buff. I have two colors. I already have I already have the gold leaf on there. Now I'm going to put antique gold on top of these little black splotches, and then that gives me even more depth and detail, making this party hat look like a metal Christmas tree. Now, it needed its metal star. I salvaged one off of an old decoration, but you can buy a metal star. Metal ornaments are everywhere right now. And I cut off a little piece of dowel stick. I used gold rub and buff, the same color. Well, I used both colors on it. I used one of my gold rub and buffs to color the dowel rod. And then I hot glued the star to the dowel rod and then the dowel rod into the top of the party hat. And then the last little detail was I brushed just a little tiny bit of black paint on the star because it looked like there was a little bit of blackness on the star of my other tree so that they match just perfectly. And a side note, you can use white poster board, make it a cone shape, and rub and buff will work on white poster board on the slick side. So you can make a ton of these for cheap. Now something to suit the rustic taste. This snowflake is an easy dupe. We don't need to pay $34. You can come up with a snowflake nearly anywhere. I was at Hobby Lobby. Christmas was 50% off, so I grabbed this snowflake. I grabbed the black one because it was the biggest one, I believe. Then take some brown paint. Brown chalk paint sticks to everything. I'm using the color Truffle. It's Waverly. It's a little sample bottle size that you get at Walmart for a couple bucks. And paint this all over the surface. I'm not going to go all over into every nook and cranny, just the top surface of the snowflake. Then dry that all up with your hair dryer or heat gun. This is all very quick. And then you can use some white chalk paint to get that feathery rustic look. So you need a bristle brush like this, and you're going to use a dry brush technique. So when you dip your bristle brush into the white chalk paint, first, before you go to your project, dab a lot of it off onto something, paper towel, wax paper that I'm using for mine, anything to get most of that paint off, and then you just lightly brush over the top. And it's really easy to make a base. I just used these planks that I got at the Dollar Tree. I have 3 of them. I hot glued them all together, stacked them up, and then I painted all of them with the same truffle paint as the snowflake. And then I did the same rustic technique with the white chalk paint. And I attached the snowflake to the plank with hot glue for the immediate hold and E6000 for the permanent hold. If you're new to crafting, don't mix the two. You don't want your hot glue and your E6000 to touch each other because for some reason they just cancel each other out and nothing sticks. So do like a drop of hot glue right next to your drop of E6000, but don't let them touch. It looks like I could have gone a little bit lighter on the brown color or sanded it to make it a little lighter. That probably would have been perfect. So I think this is a pretty good one. So tell me, what do you think? Would you try to recreate any of these? I had a really awesome time putting them together, and I love bringing you guys the look for less. I loaded up another great video right here for you where I do Pottery Barn Christmas dupes. Enjoy your weekend, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye!